Blessings, everyone. Today, I'm going to be doing a Spirit of the Animal Oracle deck. It's been there's been a lot of the creatures coming back. I guess some of the days where it's warmer. I've been outside with the birds. You have to excuse me, I'm standing because I have my leg brace on today. But so I've been outside just getting some fresh air, and there's been a lot of the new birds coming around. I seen the woodpecker. Also, the squirrels have been out playing, which is always such a joy. And so, and also, I don't know if everybody who pays attention to these things or if it's something part of a spiritual journey for you, but I do have what I believe to be my totem, and I also have my spirit animal. And my totem I have in my arm, I don't know if you're going to see that, which is the butterfly. It's the monarch butterfly. And then on this arm I have my spirit animal, which is the wolf, and also more butterflies, which is part of my totem. So doing the animal medicine cards is something that I always like to keep in touch with, because I feel that when we're in the space to be receiving, a lot of times the animals and creatures, insects, even down to nature itself, whether it be the rocks or the wind, a tree, will bring us a teaching experience, a lesson. And sometimes some things are stronger than others for us. And I do have, it seems like a connection with a lot of the winged ones. So for me, when I start seeing my totem, whether it's a lot of pictures I've noticed, or a lot of people are talking about it, if it comes up, I know that there's something to do with what it stands for me. And for me, it's change. The monarch butterfly has been a huge teacher of change for me, transformation, some people would say. I've had some life-altering events many times in my life, and it has always been there through that with me to teach me how to move with the change. And so the animal oracle for me is just a little way to bring creation into the spiritual journey and to hear the messages. I'm just going to give a quick shuffle. Again, sorry, I have to stand because the brace that I have on my leg is... Let's just put it this way, I need a new one. Okay. I'm just going to pull one card today. Just a general, it feels like they want me to just pick one today. Whoops, it came right out. As an overall reading for the energy of the day. And this one is Loon, intuitive. Listen to the song in your soul. Trust your intuition as you have a way of knowing. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. And so I think what the message from the Loon today is just kind of encouraging us. And then I can hear some of the guides saying that it's now more than ever is the time that we need to listen to our inner gut, our intuition. And for me, because my totem has been coming through a lot, the butterfly, there is big change coming. And usually anybody that winds up coming into my life or I wind up connecting with, we can interact with each other as far as what our totems are. And so I know a lot of people have been telling me that they're going through a huge life-altering change. And I understand that because that's happened many times. We all have gifts to give each other, and a lot of times our totems are an indication of what that gift may be that we're bringing to each other. And as I said, I understand that my totem is the butterfly, it is change. So any friends or family, people that come into my life, it's always about change. That part of our interaction is something to do with change, whether I'm going to help them with change or they're going to help me do a change. It's usually quite life altering. I'm not going to, say otherwise, but and my husband in spirit, his totem that's what the tattoo is from, the eagle. And he was the clarity. He had brought a lot of clarity to my life. And so that was the gift that he gave me, was understanding things from a different perspective, kind of seeing the bigger picture. But to get back to the loon. So basically what this is saying today is that now more than ever, we really need to trust our intuition and know that we're being guided, know that we're getting the message. It shouldn't be a second guess at this point where we're so into this journey, all of us. And if we're new to the spiritual journey, we're just realizing that we're on this path a lot of times. And the way the energy has been recently, it's going to be quite a quick one. So I understand that the souls that are going through these quick changes right now and their intuition is very strong, just know that that is because the energy is shifted and we chose to be here. So you're kind of getting a little caught up on everything, that some people have been on this journey for a very, very long time. And it doesn't really matter per se time on the journey, because we know that that is not, time is just in the human earthly school experience. But to give some kind of a perspective, a lot of people have just started coming into this space and it's like, oh my goodness, they went from 0 to 100 and their intuition is everywhere and they're seeing things, they're having experiences that seem like some kind of phenomenon, or they're waking up in the middle of the night. Some people are saying they're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and, oh my goodness, what was that? I had this intense dream. Or maybe they're seeing an event and then they hear it on the news the next day and they're like, oh my goodness, how did I know that fire was going to happen? And it's because we're starting to get really connected now to the universe, to all the information that's there, the Akashic records. Everybody is able to access that. And so it's the veil, so to speak, that everybody talks about is kind of getting thinner because our vibration is raising. And so the intuition is much stronger. So what is kind of being encouraged through nature as well is just to listen to the intuitive messages that you're being shown, whether it's the way the light is looking through the trees, or maybe there's a stone somewhere and it triggers something inside. It doesn't even have to be that you're directly hearing the message from the stone. The stone could be assisting in bringing through something, and it makes you remember something, or you get a vision. Just to listen to your intuition, because now more than ever, we're being guided very strong. And so I think a lot of things too is, we're tuned in, we're online, we're on the internet. And so that energy is shifting too, because Spirit does use technology for us to connect us when we're not always connected in another space. But it also brings us into that space where we can get messages because they're energy. They can use technology to bring through a picture or a song or a movie or a photo of something that you wouldn't have seen otherwise in another place. So these things are exactly what they're using our intuition for. We ask for a sign. And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, you see a photograph on your timeline of one of your social media pages that there's the sign. It might not be something you may be asking for, a strawberry, and whether it's in the store that you see one, you wind up one with on your plate that day, or it's a picture that you find on social media. They're going to come through with that for you. But we have to have some solitude as well. If we're sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting and super focused on that, our intuition in that space, sometimes we miss it. So sometimes we have to ask and then release it. And a lot of times when we're in that space, it's really fast then. It comes right away. You wouldn't believe it. It's not even that you have to wait, because you're so tuned in. And the last message that I'm getting on the card today is that we're loved. And intuitively, we're that's what we are. We just know that. But sometimes it can feel like maybe whatever's going on, that we can't tune into that feeling. So we're just in a little solitude, sit with the creatures. Sometimes they'll be the first ones to remind us about love. We'll watch the cardinals this time of year when they're together, and it's adorable because they're feeding each other. Or you see the parents, and they're just starting to bring their young from last year to learn how to feed at our feeders. Or I love watching the osprey teaching their young how to fish. And that's a sign of love. That brings us right into that space. Or we're just appreciating ourselves. We're feeling that love because we're surrounded by the intoxicating beauty of it all. We're in that moment. So in the solitude, whenever we're wondering, is it my monkey mind? Am I overthinking? Was that a sign? If we're quiet, and I like to refer to this as stillness. If we're in the stillness, just being. And I know everybody says empty your mind and just breathe. And sometimes we can't. We can't empty our mind. And that's okay. I'm going to be the one person to tell you, probably get a lot of flack for this, but you don't have to empty your mind. We're born with a brain. And yes, we're going to overthink sometimes. And Spirit knows that. It's part of our journey here. So sometimes it doesn't take that. You don't have to be completely empty. You just have to be willing to receive. What's most important is that your heart space is open. And sometimes the intuition is going to be something that we're not expecting. It might not be exactly the answer that we want to hope for. It might be something different. Or in my case, with the change, I've been homeless. I had a heart attack. I've lost a child. I've had Rocky Mountain spotted fever. I was hit by a car and had a spine injury. And so, you know, we all have a story. Oh, woe is me. But what I'm saying is, was that the change I wanted? Absolutely not in that moment. But what I got from it, as cliche as it sounds, was life-altering. And it put me right back on my path. Spirit has a way of saying, stop. I know your monkey mind can't be still, but I will help you. And once you start listening to that intuition and you say, oh my goodness. Now I knew when I was hit by the car, I was on a path that was not where I was supposed to be. And Spirit literally stopped everything in my life and said, now you're going to understand a whole new perspective besides the idea of learning to work through challenges, but it makes you of better service because you know what's going on. You've been through something. And when someone comes to you for guidance and help, you can explain to them from a sincere place because you've been there. And once you get into that space of intuition and you know this is happening for a reason, I might not know what it is right now, but you trust, then it will all fall together. So sometimes we don't have to quiet our mind, but it comes from the heart. That's it. As long as you trust and you understand that it's something that's coming for our greater good, maybe not in the moment, but once the clarity sets in, we will understand why. So sorry about my little rant today, but I felt like that to put things in perspective. They're kind of giving me these flashes of everything and just reminding me, and that's the best way that I can find in my knowledge to share with everybody of intuition and understanding and why things happen sometimes. So the loon, I don't know how many people are going to be able to see a loon today, so but if you happen to a photograph, or you're in a part of the world where the beautiful birds are there, just know that it's bringing that message and it's asking us to trust that today. So I hope in some way that this albeit interesting message today came through and might inspire in some way. it just will give everybody that confidence, hopefully, that we're not imagining everything. I like to keep reiterating this. It is not, there's no such thing as coincidence. We planned this before we got here because we knew exactly who we were going to meet up and who was going to encourage us, who was going to help us through life changes, teach us things, and love us. So, many blessings, everyone. Much love through your day.